around the office.
Score big by making your next event or your own space unforgettable. Create something legendary by getting started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
Attention car buyers, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, buy it now from the International Autos Group and save up to $15,000 on a beautiful new Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, or Hyundai. And 0% financing is available. The International Autos Group, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Visit iamilwaukee.com. Offers on select new models. Financing with approved credit. Savings off MSRP.
Hey fans, the Brew Crew are hot and so are the summer temps. Now is the perfect time to step up your comfort game with a new Carrier home comfort system to keep your home cool all summer long. Ask your local dealer about local Wisconsin focus on energy rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Turn to the experts at Carrier. We've got you covered so you can get back to cheering on the crew. Carrier, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Find your local dealer at carriermilwaukee.com.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Alrighty then, that wasn't very fun. 5-0. Oh well, there's another one tomorrow. The good news is, magic number got better. The Cubs lost tonight. The Brewers lost tonight. But the magic number falls to 11 to clinch the division. The Brewers will remain 7.5 games up when they wake up tomorrow. They are 4.5 up now on the Phillies, who won tonight 1-0, mind you, against the New York Mets. 4.5 up on Philly, which is really 5 because of the tiebreaker. They're 10 up on LA, who are just getting started against the Rockies tonight, which is really 10.5 because of the tiebreaker. So everything's looking good. They were due for a real clunker like this. And today was a couple of small mistakes that added up. I thought Jose pitched well, aside from one at-bat, maybe one pitch selection that he misexecuted. And yet, the Brewers shot themselves in the foot a couple of times and could not sustain a rally. You know, the exact opposite of what happened over the Pirates series. The Brewers had 6 hits, none of them for extra bases. They had exactly one at-bat with a runner in scoring position today. And obviously they went over in that one at-bat. The Brewers, still the positives that you're going to pull from this. Number 1, Christian Yelich returned, and he looked good. Despite going 1 for 4, that doesn't tell the whole story. Number 2, you gave another breather to your bullpen. And given Thursday is an off day, Tuesday and Wednesday, you can unload the barrel. You know, you have Grant Anderson back. You have, availability in that bullpen that you can use to deploy against these Rangers these next 2 days. And number 3, the Brewers are seemingly willing to experiment a little bit here coming up, as we saw one small thing happen exactly for 1 inning, but we're going to talk about Isaac Collins at third base. It's officially been shown to us that it's something they're thinking about, and they made it happen for 1 inning. So we'll break that down coming up in just a moment with Craig Kashan. There's no full highlight segment from this one. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. 855-616-1620. You know, the way that this game went, this game was perfect through 4 for Jose Quintana. And then all great rallies, you've heard me say it a million times, start with a leadoff walk. And he walks Jake Berger, but the reason why that walk was significant, there was a foul pop down the right field line on a 3-1 pitch that Bryce Strang would tell you he probably should have caught it. Andrew Vaughn was in position too, but he got out of the way. That's a second baseman's ball. And there was some sort of oddity, some sort of jet stream, something odd about the roof being open tonight at Globe Life Field. An extremely rare occurrence in Arlington that anything to right field was just getting sucked up and just hitting a wall of wind of some kind. And the Brewers had a hard time judging it. They hit a couple of balls that died at the track. So did the Rangers. But that little gust, I mean, both Vaughn and Terang had it overran. Like, to have two guys overrun the ball tell you something wonky was happening to that baseball. So Bryce drops it. It ends up being a walk. A fielder's choice out on a nifty play by Joey Ortiz. A double that was inches away from a homer, but almost a gift. So they had runners on second and third with one out. A 4-pitch walk to switch hitter Jonah Heim. And then the grand slam by Michael Hellman on an 0-2 pitch. Contreras had set up inside to the righty, but the sinker missed up and over the middle, and Hellman was out in front and crushed it, indicating he was selling out for a heater. And then they added another RBI double later in the game. 5-0 the final. There's not much really to say from this one. But we will find some positives. We'll point out 2 outs on the bases. That's not Brewers baseball. That drop pop-up. The top of the order, Bryce Ofer, human for once. It's no big deal. But we'll break it all down coming up next, right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
At Tony Wendorf & Associates First Weber Group, we believe in the human side of real estate. For us, it's faith, family, and friends in that order. We live that every single day. I'm Tony Wendorf. We move fast, negotiate with confidence, and communicate clearly so our clients win. We operate from a place of gratitude, having donated nearly $200,000 back to our community since 2020. You deserve a team that delivers a luxury experience no matter the price point. Contact us today to get started. Tony Wendorf & Associates, trusted knowledge, superior service. Contact us at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Start your journey now. Don't wait. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation to lose up to 1 pound of fat per day. No drugs, no injections, no exercise. It's safe, fast, and costs a fraction of those injections. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. If you're looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs, look no further than Fifth Third Bank. With a local team right here in Milwaukee, they know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that'll help your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value that only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. I'm Dominic Cotroneo with Craig Kishan. 5-0 the final. The Rangers win today. Craig, just a bona fide clunker today. Not much to say in this one because I didn't think Jose pitched that bad. He obviously wants that 0-2 pitch back, but when you're perfect through 4 and then was perfect in the 6th and ran into a little trouble there in the 7th, but Quintana, aside from the grand slam, he gave length. Obviously, he made the mistake, but the story today is the lack of the offense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 10 runs yesterday, Dom, and then he gets shut out the very next game. That's a tough one to swallow for sure. They just could not get anything going. Really hardly any threat at all in this game, which was so rare for a 9-inning, effort like that. But, Quintana, the 5 earned runs certainly that's an anomaly, man. He gave up more runs than hits in this game and pitches 6 2/3 innings. So everything kind of changes, I think, though, if the Brewer defense can make that play there. Their defense was strong really for most of the game, but somehow that ball got away from Terang. And then, of course, the baseball gods say this guy's going to get another chance, and you walk the first batter of the inning, and things just didn't go the Brewers' way after that, especially for Quintana.
Well, when I look at it from the Brewers' perspective of opportunities to get runs, because I also want to give credit to Jacob Latz. I thought he was very good today. But you look at it for Caleb Durbin. He's been in a little bit of a rut as of late. He bounces into a double play after an Andrew Vaughn single in the second. I mean, the Brewers hit into 3 double plays today. That's not like them. 2 of them on the ground, 1 of them into themselves. Jackson Churio trying to tag on a fly ball to center field. That shouldn't happen. And then also the poor dirt ball read by Blake Perkins. I understand trying to be aggressive. There's a fine line to walk there. And I understand Perk trying to be aggressive and try to get an extra 90 feet because you never know what could happen. But you got to be 100% on those situations. He didn't hesitate on the read. It just was a poor read.
Yeah, it was. And, it's just a kick in the teeth, too, when you look at the situation that, both those errors on the bases ended the inning as well. And especially, with Perk, the last guy you want to leave in the batter's box with 2 on is William Contreras, because we know how quickly he can turn on one, and all of a sudden you're right back in the ball game. So you don't want those opportunities. What they say, you don't want to take the bat out of this guy like Contreras' hands for no reason at all. So there are times where you can be aggressive, and there are times where you have to say, I can't make mistakes here either. So that was obviously one of those times.
When the Brewers are churning at their best, extra 90s are revered as, great aggressive base running plays. But these weren't that. I think these were just a little doing too much, like you're saying, Craig, where when the offense isn't going right, and you want to be the guy, like, I'm going to be the guy that kickstarts this and get things going the right direction. There's a difference between being aggressive and being reckless. And there was a couple of times, tonight in those outs on the bases, and then, the Brewers didn't hit an extra base hit tonight either, so it's not totally just on those 2 plays, but a little too reckless maybe for the Brewers taking.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, we've had this conversation before. My take on a large scenario of these players on this team, and it's not only understanding your roles, it's understanding your role in situations. And there's no reason for Churio to try to advance from first to second. I mean, he's coming off an injury, and I think at this point of the season, you just have to make sure you're taking care of yourself, and you're not being selfish either. And trying to get that extra base in a situation like that just wasn't the right move for sure. And then Perk's got to know his role. What's the situation at second? It's first and second, 2 down, and you're down, 4 or 5 runs. You're the one that's got to be out there scoring that first run to get this thing going and not give it away. That's for sure.
But yet the Brewers only struck out 5 times today. But they only had 6 hits, none of them for extra bases, only 2 walks. An odd day for the offense in a giant pitcher's yard. There was definitely some contact that did not get rewarded today. We'll talk about Yelich coming back in a moment. But when you added this all up, I looked a little bit closer at a lot of these pitch counts and a lot of these counts. A lot of 0-1, 0-2s, a lot of 1-2s. I mean, Jacob Latz was getting ahead, and the Brewers weren't able to get quality contact on him. So that's the difference of, when the offense is churning, when you're getting count leverage, and you're getting a pitch that you want to do damage with on a 2-0, on a 2-1, on a 3-1, that's when you're seeing success go their way. But when so many of these counts are ending with 2 strikes or ending with a 1-2 count or an 0-2 count, we talk about how good this team is at avoiding strikeouts. But at the same time, when you're facing a guy that's got good command of his stuff, he's got a very good rising fastball, it's going to be up against him when you got to always be, conscious of 93 with rise when he's got a really good slider to complement that too.
Yeah, Latz opened up some eyes. I mean, he's been a reliever for I think over 90 appearances, and this was only, I think, his 5th or 6th start that he's made, maybe 7th in his career. So he's transitioned very nicely over into a much needed role for this team with their starting pitching injuries here right now. And he's also in a groove because, right now he thinks he's a starting pitcher, and right now he's not just out there going 4 innings. He's last couple of outings, he's gotten into that 6th, into that 7th inning, and he's done a nice job. You're right, his command was certainly on, and he's gonna help this club. He's already helped this club stay in playoff contention. Another win for the Rangers here. They're playing very good baseball.
Yeah, they're playing hungry. They're on the outside looking in. They're trying to break down the door and get themselves in. Now, we will find a couple of positives from this one, including Christian Yelich, and it wasn't all bad from Jose Quintana today as well. We'll talk about that in the next segment. A couple of texts that I've rolled in here as well. Alex from Oshkosh, all I can say is get him tomorrow. Another question from the 414. Don't know why you got Collins coming in at the beginning of an inning to pinch hit. If you're going to pinch hit, do it with 2 guys in the lineup that are hitting 200. Well, he's going in to try to start an experiment with Isaac Collins. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. And Durbin is in a little bit of a funk right now, too. And then furthermore, Sal Frelick, he's hitting 7th, but he made some good plays defensively. Maybe he should be higher in the order. I agree with that. I actually really like Sal in the leadoff spot and Bryce hitting 5th, but that's a conversation for another time. Let's talk about Yelly up next here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey Brewers fans, did you know you can get free tickets to an upcoming Milwaukee Brewers game if you replace all the windows in your home with Window Nation? And this month, when you buy 2 windows, Window Nation will give you 2 for free. Plus, you won't make any payments for 2 years. That's right, no interest, no monthly payments, and no down payment. Get 1-day installation with Window Nation, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
You know, Dad, we can't ever change.
Amen to that, son. And I'll tell you what, we'd have a lot of people to answer to if we did.
The fact that things have remained the same at Marty's going back all the way to 1957 is what makes it so special.
And it starts with a recipe for our sauce. It's the original, the same one that Marty taught me. It was there on day 1, and it's still here today.
And it's never going away.
James, you stick with that attitude, and Marty's will be around for your kids to keep up their tradition.
And there are other things that make Marty's Pizza special.
Well, you got our untouched original recipe for our pizza sauce, and we have our own sausage made for us with our own recipe. We make everything fresh. Our own meatballs, our lasagna, our dough every day. We cut our vegetables fresh every day.
It's a labor of love.
This is Dick the Dad.
And James the Son from Marty's Pizza in Delafield.
Find out what keeps our loyal customers coming back for generations.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings brought to you by Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electric. Only in Wisconsin. Can you need the AC one day and the furnace the next? Be ready for whatever the weather throws your way. Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical has an early bird special, $20 off a furnace tune-up now through September 19th. Book your appointment today at Cider, SEIDER.com. Not part of the ad copy. I saw a cider truck in the wild today as I was driving over here to the studio. So shout out to our friends at Cider helping out our neighbors here. Craig Kashan is with us. I'm Tom Cotroneo. Craig, with all the hubbubaloo about, oh no, Yelly's back is flaring up again. What does this mean for the Brewers? Oh no, oh no, oh no. He instantly poured ice cold water on that today, talking to the media. His quote to Adam McCalvy really made me smile because I can just totally picture it in Yelly's voice saying, hey, yeah, I did have back surgery. You're going to have days where you're a little stiff and a little sore. It's just kind of where we're at in the season. We wanted to make sure everything was all good going down the stretch. And, well, all 4 balls he hit today were hard hits, 95 or above. 3 of them were over 100. He got robbed on a couple of them as well. He had a single. Yelich looked fine. That's great news. And I think we can all just take a chill pill and exhale.
Yeah, I agree. It was great to see him come out and hit that ball as hard as he did in all 4 at-bats. I mean, to me, he's saying, guess what? When I went out here earlier this week, I just needed the break. And when I went out, I was hitting well and I was helping carry this offense. And guess what? I'm back. So tonight didn't work out for anybody in the lineup, but that is clearly a silver lining for him. He was 1 for 4. He was robbed even in the 9th inning. The pitcher made a nice play to close things out. So this guy knows his body. He's been around too long, and he's been through, too much. And I know that people get a little fear, but just trust this guy when he says it's all going to be good. He did not go on the injured list for a reason, so you got to trust him.
Yeah, and he knew that, hey, this is not going to be a 10-day thing. And the Brewers still have 3 more off days. Thursday, next Monday, and then the following Thursday. So they're in really good shape to give these guys rest. The bullpen will get plenty of chances. Like, their longest streak remaining is 9 games in a row. And then furthermore, in the postseason, I'll say it again, you get an extra off day between Game 1 and Game 2. So those 5 days off from the 29th to the 3rd, there will be team workouts and things like that. But this team could be fresh heading into the NLDS. So Christian Yelich is obviously a positive today as well. Another positive is the bullpen is extremely fresh for the rest of this series, given they weren't really needed yesterday. In fact, Craig Yoho was optioned, which was kind of a shock to some of us. That Yoho was optioned today for the activation of Grant Anderson. That's another bit of good news for the Brewers to have Grant back in this into this bullpen. And then furthermore, you're getting Chad Patrick to start tomorrow. This seems like it's just going to be a spot start. If anybody's wondering if they're going to shift to a 6-man rotation, just looking at the way that things could shake out, they only need the guys to make one more start on a 5-day turn. I'll break that down later. But Chad Patrick making a spot start tomorrow to give everybody an extra day of rest. This bullpen is locked and loaded, ready to go to try to win a series these next 2 days.
Yeah, just think how taxed they were before this little stretch here, and you get the sweep against the Pirates, and you really don't need the bullpen for more than just that one game. And so this is great to have them be in this situation. McGill is going to throw a simulated game tomorrow, we are told, beforehand, and so that's going to be a sure step that this guy's not too far away at all from returning as well. So they're getting these extra days you're talking about, Dom, down the stretch here. They're entering, another stage where it's not only fending off the Cubs, they have a big lead, but they also want to make sure they hold back the Phillies. They're 4.5 games behind Milwaukee for that best record in the NL to have home field advantage. So there's a lot at stake here, and right now it looks very much like this team is going to go in healthier by the day. Also, Hoskins is supposed to be activated tomorrow as well. So your offense, if they play everything out right, is going to get a boost as well. And Dom, they're going to get some spot breaks, some of these starters that have been playing a lot too. So this is all a good sign. Despite what happened tonight, there's still so much more to play for.
There are opportunities right now for the Brewers to say, all right, when Rhys Hoskins gets activated tomorrow, where maybe Vaughn, let's say over these final 17 games, maybe Vaughn's going to start, let's say 12 of them to give him some time off. And then let's say Jake Bauers is going to start maybe 8 or 9 of them. And this isn't going to be an even number because one can be the DH, which thus gives Yelly a day off. One can be the first baseman. Maybe only one plays of the 3, right? Maybe just Bauers plays first and both Rhys and Vaughn are on the bench or something like that. So, and then Rhys would probably play 7 or 8, something like that, to make sure his bat is ready to go. I think as things start tomorrow, unless Rhys Hoskins, slams the door down and says, I'm still Rhys Hoskins, and he hits like 400 here in the end of September, all right, man, you're over there at first base in October. But at this point, the Brewers have an unfamiliar feeling of they've got too much pop at first base right now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, really, who would have thought? But you knew something was going to happen down the line. And a lot of times we use this familiar phrase that, it'll all play out when that time comes. Well, it looks like tomorrow you're going to have 3 healthy first basemen. For the last 50 games, you basically had 1, and that one guy in Andrew Vaughn has been absolutely phenomenal. So it's but they're also at the point too, Dom, where you're saying, everybody can get a turn here. And I'm pretty sure that Reese has been around long enough and he's at the point of his career where he understands who should get the bulk of the playing time here right now. I mean, believe me, he understands that. So they could definitely welcome back his veteran leadership. And Dom, this guy is still going to come up with something big before it's all over. He's just that successful of a guy.
And he had a really good rehab assignment. He looks healthy. Exit velos are there, too. That's something exciting. One more thing with Craig, and it's something that maybe you may not catch in the box score today, but a small thing that could turn into a big thing. We'll explain next on 620 WTMJ.
Crispy chicken tenders are now at Cousin's Subs. Enjoy them with your favorite dipping sauce, or try them in one of our 2 new subs, Classic Crispy Chicken or Bold Buffalo Ranch Crispy Chicken. Both served on our fresh baked bread, made with quality you can taste. But hurry, these crispy favorites are only here for a limited time. Order in store, online, or on the app today. Cousin's Subs. We believe in better.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or 2. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Attention car buyers, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, buy it now from the International Autos Group and save up to $15,000 on a beautiful new Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, or Hyundai. And 0% financing is available. The International Autos Group, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Visit iamilwaukee.com. Offers on select new models. Financing with approved credit. Savings off MSRP.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Couple of texts in here. Dallas from the east side. Is the crew going with a 6-man rotation with Chad Patrick going tomorrow? If so, why? The answer is no. This seems like a spot start, Dallas, where they wanted to give everybody an extra day off during this last turn through the rotation. So Freddie's going to go on Wednesday, and then everyone else will use the off day on Thursday to get an extra day of rest and another off day on Monday. So this seems like just a one and done for Chad Patrick right now. It seems though the crew's taking the foot off the pedal, 10-12 since the 14-game streak. I mean, if you want to look at it like that, sure. But at the same time, they were just 4-1 in their last 5. We can always find a time frame that we like or don't like to fit our narrative. I think that the Brewers, when it all shakes out, they're still going to have, in my opinion, a new record for wins, right, Craig Kashan? That, they're at 89 wins right now. They need 7 more of their final 17 games to surpass 96. Everybody wants 100, I know. But the Brewers are going to prioritize making sure they're ready for October over 100 wins.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see them for sure getting there. And I'm not looking at, what's happened since the winning streak. I think if you're a smart and educated fan and you've been around here long enough, you know that this team can't start another 14-game winning streak and, win 125 games. I mean, come on. So they're doing fine. And the other big thing about that, too, during this most recent last 2 or 3 weeks, they've been injured as all you know what, and they're surviving that right now in a lot of ways. And I think, quite honestly, they've done a terrific job of trying to hold court here a little bit and keep their head above water. And they haven't lost much if any, of their leads that they had, after that 14-game winning streak ended. We've talked about it. They're fine here right now, and they're getting a little bit healthier. So stay positive, folks.
And at the end of that 19 in a row, that's going to be the stretch that I look at, right? So what do they do? We talk about what they did at the end of the streak, but then what do they do from September 3rd on? That's what I'm going to be fascinated to watch the rest of this season. They're now 4-2 over their last 6 games since that off day. Let's see how that goes, and that's going to be the window that I look at. Real quick segment of buying or selling. It's brought to you by Tony Wendorf and Associates. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, trust Tony Wendorf and Associates, one of the top real estate teams in Wisconsin, and part of First Weber Real Estate Services. They bring faith, family, and a red carpet experience to every home deal. Let's step up to the plate together. WendorfTeam.firstweber.com. One thing that I'm buying here, Craig Kashawn, is the subtle little move that Pat Murphy made, kind of showing his hand of what these final 17 games, one of the goals on that checklist on what's important right now, on all the notes that Pat Murphy always has on his desk. Get Isaac Collins some reps at third base. This is something that's been a little bit of a fever dream for us of like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? They want to try to see, since they have all of this outfield, this is the premier outfield that they want to use in the postseason. Sal in right, Perkins in center, and Churio in left. That leaves Isaac Collins as the odd man out. So if he's going to play third base, they're running out of time to get him some reps there, real reps.
I'll tell you what, they put him in that last inning, and the very first ball in play is popped over to him. Obviously, that's how baseball goes, which continues to amaze me. But I'll tell you what, I was talking with Vinny about this. I said to Vin, put Collins out there tomorrow. Start him. I mean, you ended the game with him. He ended over at third base. Put him out there tomorrow right away. Durbin needs a day off. He's scuffling big time at the plate here right now. Give Collins that shot over there and see how he does. Suddenly, the Brewers could use that depth over at third base, and so they can make some room at DH, so they can make some room in the outfield a little bit as well, and even keep a guy like Jake Bauers around for a little bit. So you just never know. And if he can handle it over there and also handle himself at the plate the way he's done a terrific job this season, they might have a little something that they can work with.
Yeah, when I look at it for Caleb Durbin, he has now started 16 of the last 17 games. And this cold stretch, just over his last 8 games, he's just 4 for his last 25. So he's really slowed down. He's not striking out a ton. Granted, he had 3 of them in one game yesterday on Sunday in Pittsburgh. But if Isaac Collins is going to be that left-handed option that the Brewers use, that then you run into this hard decision. Like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and this is going to be the sell portion of this. Like, I can buy giving Isaac Collins reps at third base when you're facing a right-handed starter. But what I'm selling is I still want to see Caleb Durbin because his defense, as we know in the playoffs, Craig, every little thing matters in the playoffs. And if Isaac Collins comes in and, is a little heavy-footed and has some growing pains, like there's not enough time to absorb that because you know what you have defensively with Caleb Durbin. He made another really nice play tonight.
Yeah, I know. That is always going to be the big question mark is you're taking a great glove off the diamond. And I think too, though, you just kind of have to judge how, your opposing pitcher is going to be and what your pitcher on the mound is going to be when you've got, the defense behind him a little bit too. And I also think too, Dom, Perk, unless he gets his back going, he might be somebody that doesn't necessarily start a game as much as he finishes a game at some point, whether it's midway through or later, to see what you can do with some of the guys that might be swinging the bat a little bit better out of your outfield mix. So, they're in a good spot where they've got big lead here. They got big leads right now, and they can do a little bit of experimenting without ruining what they've got going, I think, because it's not like you're bringing in brand new guys that aren't Milwaukee Brewers here right now and try to make them Milwaukee Brewers. They have guys on their team that they can move around a little bit and shift. So why not?
Yeah, I agree. And that's another, you bring up the good point about Blake Perkins about how cold he has been in the last couple of weeks. There's still the opportunity for, let's say, Collins just plays left field. You put Chourio in center. Yes, you get a little worse defensively in center field. But then what you would do is you would put the defensive replacement of Blake Perkins in Isaac Collins' spot, but just move it to center field.
Right.
That's how they would fit that in. And then you keep Caleb Durbin at third base in that case. So all this is being armchair manager, but these are the things that we're going to be monitoring these final 17 games as the Brewers, yes, they lose, but they get one step closer to clinching the division thanks to the Cubs loss. So we're a day closer, Craig, and another day, hopefully, for a win tomorrow.
Looking forward to it, Dom.
All right, Craig Kashan joining us on 620 WTMJ. Let's talk a little bit about that rotation and what it means. And with Chad Patrick going tomorrow, can we schedule out the rest of September? Let's try to do that as an exercise next here on 620 WTMJ.
With a dedicated Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. For 15 years, we've been serving businesses, organizations, and individuals in the area with a long-standing commitment to the healthcare and not-for-profit sectors. Whether it's expansion to commercial payments, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions to navigate your organization's complex needs. Experience the difference with Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
At Tony Wendorf and Associates First Weber Group, we do more than close deals. We serve with gratitude and faith-filled purpose. We've sold over $300 million in real estate since 2020, one of the top-ranked real estate teams in Wisconsin, and we're just getting started. What sets us apart? We care. Even if we're not your agent, we'll still help. That's the kind of stewardship the community deserves. If you're buying or selling across southeastern Wisconsin, let us earn your trust. I'm Tony Wendorf, and I want to create your red carpet experience. Contact us at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Milwaukee Health Commissioner Dr. Michael Totoraitis says the Milwaukee Health Department will provide Milwaukee Public School students access to measles vaccines.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
Meteorologists trying to get jobs at the National Weather Service are being asked to answer questions that appear to test their loyalty to the president.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ.
Start your journey now. Don't wait. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation to lose up to 1 pound of fat per day. No drugs, no injections, no exercise. It's safe, fast, and costs a fraction of those injections. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
At Og Prep North, we know the only way to build the future is on a foundation of excellence and faith. Og Prep North, built for academic, artistic, and athletic excellence. Made for more. Learn more at ogprep.org.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
You're going to have a hard time picking a player of the game tonight for the Brewers. They fall today 5-0 to the Rangers. We're halfway through the show. We're going to the top of the hour here on 620 WTMJ. We'll do a little scoreboard watching later on as well. But for this one, for the Brewers, at least if we're going to pick a Brewer, should point out, Blake Perkins did get 2 hits today. I know he got thrown out. Chourio reaching base twice today. He also got thrown out. Andrew Vaughn, he's got a little hitting streak going right now. He went 1 for 3, too. And honestly, Quintana didn't pitch that poorly despite that one pitch. And the only 2 hits with runners in scoring position for the Rangers tonight were the 2 hits by one by Hellman, I should say. The other was a double that came with a runner on first, but it was an infield hit, did not score another run. So the point being, I just can't find a standout performance. You can go on the other side and easily say it's Jacob Latz. Player of the Game is brought to you by International Autos Group. Just like the game's MVP, you can drive into the season in style and save up to $10,000 on in-stock BMWs, Audis, Mercedes-Benz, and more. No tariffs, just huge savings. Visit iamilwaukee.com. International Autos Group, where ordinary needs to be extraordinary. So let's take a peek here. I'm going to try to do this as a visual medium, even though we're over the radio right now. 17 games to go with 3 off days. So 17 games in the span of 20 days, assuming no rainouts in St. Louis. So when you look at it with Chad Patrick going tomorrow, if we want to map out the homestand, here's how it's going to go. With Freddie goes in the finale against the Rangers on Wednesday, and off days on Thursday and Monday. So Quinn Priester would go on Friday. That's with an extra day of rest since he last pitched on last Friday. Brandon Woodruff, back-to-back Saturday starts for him. And The Miz against the Cardinals, back-to-back Sunday starts for him. Both of those guys, all three of those guys, getting an extra day of rest. Then it would be Jose Quintana on the 16th. And again, that's with 2 extra days of rest, giving 7 full days of rest because of the off days. Jose would go on Tuesday. That would give 6 days off for Freddie Peralta to go on Wednesday against the Angels. And then the homestand wraps up with Quinn Priester going on 5 full days of rest and then pitching on the 6th day. Woodruff, again, pitching on the 6th day in the opener of the Cardinals series in St. Louis on the 19th. Stay with me here. The Miz would then go on Saturday, again on a 6th-day rotation. Jose goes on Sunday, which would be a 5th-man rotation. So that's where I put a pause button on this. Do you give Jose an extra day to have him pitch against the San Diego Padres and then push everybody back once again? Now, that's consequential for a couple of reasons. Number one, San Diego against left-handed pitching is a 500 club. They're 22-22 coming into today. Do you want them to face Quintana? That's a fair question. Number two, do you want everybody else to go on a 5th-day rotation? Probably not at the end of the season. So let's go ahead and say, and put on our thinking cap here, if you don't go with a 5-man, 5-day cycle on the 21st in the finale against the Cardinals, you wouldn't be able to call up Chad Patrick unless you keep him all the way, because that's not 15 days. You could do a bullpen day and push it back one to Jose. But for this exercise, let's say Jose's going on a 5, Peralta's going on a 5, Quinn's going on a 5, and then Woodruff is going on a 5. Because of that last off day on the Thursday, you would have Miz get one more start on the Friday finale against the Reds. Peralta gets one more start on the Saturday against the Reds. And then Priester gets one more start on the Sunday to finish up the regular season. So the way that all adds up is that Peralta, Priester, and Woodruff each have 4 starts remaining. Quintana only has 2 starts remaining. Miz would have 3 starts remaining, as well as Brandon Woodruff. So that's another indicator of saying, all right, Game 1 would be Freddie Peralta. Game 2 would probably be Brandon Woodruff. Or would it be Quinn Priester? Interchangeable Game 2, Game 3. And you don't need another starter for Game 4 because of the off days. Freddie could go on the 5th day of rest. So that means, for me, the reason I would put Brandon Woodruff Game 2 is because then in the scenario they need him, he could pitch a Game 5 on that 5th day rotation. So that's a lot of, prediction that probably is going to be very wrong. But the Brewers have been thinking about these for weeks, and we're starting to try to see signs of what they want to do and how they want to handle things here down the stretch to make sure they have the freshest arms available going into October. Because, again, you only need 3 starters in the DS. You'll have a 4th starter in the CS, and then the decision becomes, does Miz stay in the bullpen? Does Quintana get a postseason start? Do you just stick with the 3 that you want and then bullpen day? I mean, these are all decisions to be made, and quite frankly, I think we're starting to see a trend in Major League Baseball where it'll be Game 1 is announced, and then depending on the result of that game, Game 2 would be announced the day of. But the team will have already known what they're going to do. I just think this is going to be interesting. There's enough to look out for in addition to Isaac Collins at third. How much center field is Churrio going to play? Is anyone else going to play shortstop? Is Teranga to get a couple reps at short? That sort of stuff. How much are Vaughn, Hoskins, and Bauers going to split first? All of these things are on the table to watch over these final 3 weeks. We're going to also do another segment of scoreboard watching. We're going to hear from the manager, Pat Murphy. We still got a little bit to get to, and the Brewers' magic number improved. We'll explain why next on 620 WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
You know, James, we'll be running this place together for a while, and one day, hopefully, you and your kids will be doing the same.
That's the plan, Dad. And we're making changes so we stay ahead of the game.
Like the new Marty's Pizza Delafield.com?
We've made it extremely easy for both our young and older customers to make fast online orders.
It is really convenient, but if you like to call your orders in, a friendly Marty's Pizza employee will be there to answer with a smile.
Remember Marty's Pizza, right off of I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
And at marty'spizzadelafield.com.
Dad, it's been almost 7 decades, and I think we just keep getting better.
And we've been in Delafield since 1982. We've been very fortunate.
At Marty's Pizza, we do our best to keep prices at a value.
And we stay true to our roots with the tastiest thin pepperoni we can find. 100% of real mozzarella cheese, our very own exclusive sausage, and an almost 70-year-old sauce recipe, both which Marty himself taught us how to make.
Dad, we got to keep on trucking.
We will, son. We will.
Ken David Mazur's thoughtful and spectacular final season as music director of the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra kicks off in grand style as the MSO welcomes Stuart Goodyear to the Bradley Symphony Center as soloist in the Piano Concerto for the Left Hand by Maurice Ravel. This dazzling and inventive showpiece will be preceded by Swedish composer Andrea Torotti's Festive Overture. And then, in the second half, it's Richard Strauss's autobiographical work Ein Heldenleben, or A Hero's Life. With moving solos for the concertmaster, this piece features all that's best in Strauss, from its vast, sweeping design to lush harmonies and brilliant, masterful orchestration. The MSO's season opener, A Hero's Life, runs September 13th and 14th only. So reserve your tickets now while you still can. Visit MSO.org or call the box office at 414-291-7605.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. They're paired perfectly with the day at the ballpark and proud partners of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside, stocked at American Family Field all season long. So let's do some scoreboard watching before we hear from the manager, Pat Murphy. We mentioned it earlier, but the Braves beat the Cubs 4-1. That helped the Brewers' magic number. Other games that have gone final that are relevant to the Brewers, the Phillies blanked the Mets 1-0 in the opener of a 4-game series. That's going to just about wrap up the NL East for the Phillies in that series, assuming they win it. But just winning one game really helped their cause. But the Brewers still will hold a 4.5 lead on the Phils for the number 1 seed in the National League and the best record in baseball. The only other game a couple of other games that are in action that matter to the Brewers for their own magic number. The Reds and the Padres all tied up at 3. San Diego has responded finally. They are down 3-0 entering the bottom of the 6th inning. Then a Gavin Sheets RBI double and a Jackson Merrill 2-run triple have tied this game in San Diego. The Brewers will be there in 2 weeks' time. But then also, San Francisco has blown it open against Arizona. They're up 9-4, a 5-run 6th inning in that one. Logan Webb, he only allowed 1 earned run in this one, and all of a sudden, San Francisco was in a little bit of a slugfest earlier, and now the Diamondbacks bullpen, as it has been much beleaguered all season long, has given it up for Arizona. For the wild card standings right now, assuming results hold. Also, Seattle's up 4-2 on St. Louis. That's relevant to the Rangers right now. And then finally, the Rockies, hold the phone. It's 1-0 Rockies in the 6th inning, and they're in Chavez Ravine. The Rockies are up 1-0, getting no hit. This is what? This is nuts. Wait a minute. Yeah, they have scored a run. I'm trying to see how they scored their run. Kyle Farmer reached on a walk. Jordan Beck reaches on a walk. then steals second, gets the third on a flyout, scores on a sac fly. Huh. So the Rockies are getting no hit by Tyler Glasnow, but they lead 1-0 with 10 strikeouts on their offense through 6 innings. Now, that would be the most Dodgers loss of the year, given what happened to them on Saturday against the Orioles. So if the playoffs started tomorrow, just a reminder, let's just go ahead and be funny, and let's just say by the time this show is over, those games won't be final, but let's say the Padres win and the Dodgers lose. They will be tied in the West. A reminder, the Dodgers have the tiebreaker head-to-head against the Padres. But in the event L.A. slides to the wild card and San Diego wins the division, it goes from L.A. hosting a 3-game series with the New York Mets to L.A. going to Chicago for a 3-game series with the Cubs. They could be ending the season the same way they started it. So that's pretty wild. But a reminder as well, we'll say it every day, the wild card matchups of the 1 wild card and the 2 wild card, the winner of that would face the 1 seed, and then the other one that features the division winner and the last team in would go to the 2 seed. That's how things work. There is no reseeding in Major League Baseball playoffs. The 1 seed is guaranteed to not face a division winner. So the Brewers would not face the NL West winner if they're the 1 seed in the NLDS. They would have to wait for them in the CS. Furthermore, they wouldn't have to face Philly, obviously, in that situation as well. Cincinnati clinging on for dear life. San Francisco clinging on for dear life. But it's going to be maybe much ado a little too late. The American League is where it's at right now. Let's say it holds for Seattle and they win that game. Houston was idle tonight. So right now in the American League West, Houston still leads with a 2.5-game lead over Seattle. But if Seattle wins, they'll be back to 2. Texas is still stuck at 3.5 back in the West. But in the wild card, the Yankees, they were also off tonight. They are clear of a playoff spot by 5 games. They're not going anywhere. But Boston's only a 1.5 back, soon to be a game back with a win over the A's that is imminent. And then Seattle, 4 games back of Boston. So it is 4 teams for 1 spot in the American League. You've got Seattle in. Texas is currently 1 game back. They could be a 1.5 back if Seattle loses. Or Seattle wins, I'm sorry. Cleveland won today, near no-hitter for Slade Ciccone. And then Kansas City, they lost today in that Cleveland game, so they're on the outside looking in right now. American League might be where it's at this year, and the Rangers are playing hungry. The Rangers are trying to stay in this race as much as they can. After the Brewers are done with the Rangers, mind you, their series that are remaining on the schedule go like this. They go to New York. They go to Houston. They host Miami. They host Minnesota. That's helpful. And then they go to Cleveland. That's how their season ends. So, Texas, this is kind of the hardest opponent, aside from the Astros. This is the hardest opponent they'll have remaining. They're not out of this. That's pretty fun. Let's take a breather and hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, as the Brewers fall today 5-0 after a big, long scoreboard watching segment. Let's hear from the skip after the loss.
Like that happens a lot in baseball, but Quintana doesn't get affected by that. It was a walk after that, and then a double off the top of the wall. It could have been 2 runs right there, but he'd like to have back a couple pitches he threw in that inning, but I thought he had a great start. And he could have went complete game tonight. So I'm really pleased with the way he threw the ball. A couple pitches didn't work his way, but you get 2 outs in the inning and make an 0-2 pitch that just doesn't get to where you want. It happens. Unfortunate, and great credit to the Rangers hitter, who drove in all 5 runs, I believe, tonight. Great credit to him. Great credit to their starting pitching. Their starting pitcher, he was fantastic. The catcher I've always liked this kid. He really does a great job behind the dish, and there's a reason he's got a Gold Glove. So those guys work unbelievably together, and we did hit some balls right on the screws and didn't get anything for it, but the kid pitched great. He was relentless, didn't walk anybody, and if he did, it was few and far between, and I think he walked 1 here, but he pitched great, so credit to him, hats off to him and what he did.
What about the 2 base running outs as well.
It never helps. Yeah, it doesn't help. One was a good aggressive mistake by Perkins. It looked like the ball was going to trickle certainly way further. And, he bang play. And then the other base running mistake, again, it took a great throw. But I see what Churi was thinking, but it was ill-advised right there. I didn't think he needed to, But, again, good aggressive play. And he doesn't know the field that well. And it takes a little bit to get adjusted to this field, but it's a great place. But it's a little different than what we're used to, so I think guys had a little time adjusting. But, yeah, we just didn't put it together, grounded into at least 2 double plays that I know of. Yelly had a great night. Swinging the bat great. It's good to have him back. Never like losing. Just don't. Base running mistakes. Durbin made a tremendous play at third. Ortiz made a great play up the middle. The pop-up wasn't like a drop pop-up. That was a tough one. It was real high in the sky they haven't seen before. Ball came flushing back. Terang had a long way to go. So.
Did you say anything about the lights? We were talking about the lights before here. That kind of.
He didn't. He didn't. But this is a new place for them. So, he makes that play tomorrow. He'll make that play. Now that he knows how it plays, but it happens.
Murphy, you're encouraged to see Christian's first 3 at-bats all over 100.
Yeah, he's on it. It was a great day for him. Came up kind of empty, got 1 hit, but he hit two other balls that, they're homers in some parks, Vaughn hit a couple screechers, and, Bryce hit the first ball of the game. That looked like that's a hit in a lot of parks, but it's part of it. Credit to the Rangers. They did a great job, and their starter was great.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Lats was pretty good today, and that's part of it. Rising fastball. He had all 3 pitches working. The changeup was good too. I ignored mentioning that pitch as how important it was for his success today. We're going to go real quick down on the farm because there's one tiny piece of news that you should know before we say goodbye and we preview tomorrow with our window ahead after this on 620 WTMJ.
Attention car buyers, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, buy it now from the International Autos Group and save up to $15,000 on a beautiful new Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, or Hyundai. And 0% financing is available. The International Autos Group, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Visit iamilwaukee.com. Offers on select new models. Financing with approved credit. Savings off MSRP.
You'll get a new heat pump system, a new furnace, and a full home duct cleaning all together as a package at about half price. Half price! That's how it all shakes out. Not a gimmick. And both the furnace and the heat pump system are high-quality units. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump system from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace and a free duct cleaning. All totaled, the cost would be about $20,000. When you add in the new tax incentives that you'll get back at the end of the year, you're going to end up paying about half. That's about $10,000 for a high-quality furnace, heat pump system, and a full home duct cleaning. It's limited time. And last time we did this, the units went pretty fast. So if your home needs a new furnace upgrade and a heat pump system that can act as a brand new AC system as well as a furnace backup, take advantage while you can and cut your energy bills substantially. Call Quality and get them while they're hot.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Remembering the lives of 2 Marquette University lacrosse players, 19-year-old Scott Michaud and 20-year-old Noah Snyder.
Eric Billstad.
A new jury duty scam is circulating in Milwaukee. Scammers are calling or texting, claiming to be from local law enforcement.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
Well, we've got a couple of accidents to start things off. First of all,
the news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ. This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ. What's coming up for the crew? This is your window to what's ahead. Brought to you by Window Nation.
Hey, Milwaukee, Tom Cotroneo here for Window Nation. Right now, you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, plus no payments for 2 years. Plus, get free tickets to a Brewers game when you replace all the windows in your home. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Now, Brewers close in on their magic number, and it's a perfect time to take advantage of Window Nation's playoff special. That magic number is 11 for the NL Central. Same time, same place tomorrow for both teams. The Brewers and the Rangers will play at 7:05 Central Time. We're on the air at 6. I've got you covered for Brewers warm-up. And the Cubs and the Braves also playing at 6:15 Central Time at Truist Park in Atlanta. That one was a really good pitching matchup. Cade Horton throwing his hat into the ring for National League Rookie of the Year consideration up against Spencer Strider with some massive breaking news today on Spencer Strider. He shaved his mustache. It's been a minute. So he's a clean-shaven right-hander. He'll get the ball for the Braves tomorrow in that one. As for the Brewers and the Rangers, Chad Patrick for the Crew back in the big leagues against Jack Leiter, the former Vanderbilt standout. He has had a very good season given how poorly last season went. Had an ERA north of 8. This year is much closer to league average at a 3.74 ERA. Almost a strikeout per inning, but maybe a bad matchup for the Brewers. He does walk a lot of guys, 62 walks in 127 in 2/3 innings pitched. So that's something to really keep an eye on. Now, the little bit of news that you may have missed that is important to keep in line and keep an eye on is that the Brewers confirmed it today. Jesus Mate is headed to Double-A. Now, there's a little bit of an asterisk on this, that Mate is going to go join the playoff run for the Biloxi Shuckers. They are the only postseason-bound minor league affiliate of the Brewers, as most minor leagues are ending this week, the next couple of weeks. Also, so long to the Carolina Mudcats. Sunday was their final game in franchise history. They are moving to Wilson next season in eastern North Carolina. So congrats to everybody with the Mudcats organization. I spent time in the Carolina League myself. Also, the High A Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, their season is over. They ended up falling in the second half, 22-42. All the talent that went to Biloxi. But Biloxi won the first half, so they are in the Southern League postseason. And they've got Brock Wilkin back healthy. Cooper Pratt was just named Minor League Player of the Month for August in the Brewers organization. And now, Jesus Mate is going to Double-A. He had 12 multi-hit games in 27 High A games with the Timber Rattlers. And now he's going to get some experience in Double-A. The number 5 overall prospect, according to MLB Pipeline. I mean, just listen to this talent the Brewers have going on right now, where you have Made as the number 1 prospect, number 5 in baseball. Luis Pena, who has rocketed up boards this season. He's number 2 in the Brewers org. He's number 16 in baseball. Cooper Pratt, we've been talking about him for a couple of spring trainings. Cooper's number 51 in baseball, 3rd in the Brewers. Jefferson Carroll finally looks healthy again. That is great news for the Brewers and their catching development right now. He is number 63 in baseball. Logan Henderson's on the IL right now, but he's number 87 in baseball. New draftee Andrew Fisher. Last year draftee Bishop Letson. Last year draftee Luke Adams. Last year draftee Braylon Payne. Marco Dinges has had a great year. So the Brewers farm by Baseball America is rated number 1 in the land. So I know we're all focused on this team and how fun they are. I just want to put this out there right now. A look ahead to next year. I know there's going to be some pitching departures perhaps, like Brandon Woodruff obviously, or even Jose Quintana. Position player-wise, it's going to be pretty much the same club next year. Maybe even younger, right? I mean, Tarango will be back, Frelick will be back, Churio will be back, Yelich will be back, Contreras still has 2 more years of team control, Caro is still on the way, Vaughn will be back, Reese will be a free agent to be, Durbin will be back, Collins will be back. I mean, you throw in the top farm system. This is why these little headlines make everybody really, really excited to see how long this run can last for the Crew, because it's the best sustained run of baseball in franchise history, where they're about to have their next win is another 90-win season, and that would be 5 straight years with 90 or more win, or 4 of the 5 years since COVID to have a 90-win season. The only one they didn't was 2022 when they missed the playoffs. So they're building a winner every single season. They have a chance, And the farm system is a big reason why the Brewers always seem to have a chance to do so. So overall, after Sunday's games, they finished above 500 in the minor leagues, too. That's a hard thing to do. 353 and 339 overall. And there's still games to be played for the Nashville Sounds. Mondays are league-wide off days, of course. But Nashville, they still are going to be going almost to the end for the Brewers. And then as the minor league season ends for all the lower affiliates, there's a little bit of a lull, and then they'll go to Instructs. Then the Fall League happens during October as well. So plenty of content to come from the minor leagues. And maybe next season we'll make a little trip down to Wilson, North Carolina to go see the brand new ballpark down there in the Carolina League. The Wilson Warbirds, locally made logo. Pretty fun stuff if you want to go check all of that stuff out. Congrats to the Brewers for getting everything done. And so long to the Carolina Mudcats. Quite an era. 5-County Stadium. I called plenty of games there. In fact, I was telling the story today. 2017 Carolina League. I was with the Down East Wood Ducks at the time, and I remember a pitching matchup. Freddie Peralta was going with his brace face, and then here's this kid next year, Corbin Burns with the goggles, and then you've got, other studs that came through that team. Trent Grisham was on a couple of those teams. I missed Sal Freeland because he was drafted after I was gone, but then think of some of the other players. Noah's a guy that I thought was can't miss was Demi Ormaloy. That's a real blast from the past for the diehards if you're listening at 11 o'clock on a night, or maybe if you made it all the way to the end of the podcast here today. So that's your little prize at the end of the show. Demi Ormaloy shout out here on September the 8th. That's going to do it for our program here tonight. Big thanks to our producer, Nate Rilling. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, keep on swinging.
Make every day extraordinary with something special from Wisconsin. From artisan cheeses to fresh produce to maple syrup, the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection's Something Special from Wisconsin program is proud to work with member businesses that certify their Wisconsin-made and processed products. Look for the red and yellow sticker and visit somethingspecialfromwisconsin.com to find member businesses and products made with care, quality, and love. Sponsored by Wisconsin DATCP.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American